One of them wanted to be the security guy. He claimed he was a security guy.
Welcome to Security Guy Radio. What's your name?
Hey, I'm Gerald Becker, Chief Product Officer for NDVision.
What does NDVision do?
Yeah, so NDVision solves a very specific problem, and I'm going to explain to you exactly what NDVision is. About a year ago, we had a customer of ours present a specific problem to us in regards to migrating his existing analog cameras to IP. He was doing about 8 cameras per store, and he had thousands of locations. And in order for him to be able to migrate those analog cameras to his new enterprise platform, he had to use what's basically used in the industry quite often, which is analog camera to an encoder to a switch, and then finally back to a server.
Right.
Obviously, a lot of points of failure and complexity when you go into the installation. You start scaling that size of volume of stores, trying to get consistency in the field with installation.
You get thousands of stores and 8 cameras a store. Exactly.
Wow. Yeah, so 1,000 locations, 8 cameras per store, and obviously when you start dealing with that volume of stores, getting the consistency in the installer base out there, it's kind of all over the place. You know, some guys can do a great job of installing it within a couple hours, 3-4 hours, and then there's guys that potentially could take a whole day, 6-7 hours just to get it done. So what he had asked me is, you know, Gerald, is there a way to potentially do all of the encoding internal to the server that has the video management software running on? I said, well, yeah, that's a hybrid platform, right? There's plenty of them out there. He's all, yeah, that's right, Gerald. It is a hybrid platform, but are there any hybrids out there that allow me to put any VMS that I want, be able to talk with that VMS without being in a proprietary format, so on and so forth? He said, I can get manufacturer product A and say, can I put this manufacturer's product on it and have it work? Well, no, there's nothing out there that allows them to do that. So that's where NDVision came from, is basically new digital vision in what this platform can do. So what we've created is an open architecture video appliance.
Open architecture, okay.
Exactly. Interesting. So what we've created is a server with embedded encoding inside of the server that allows our customers to be able to pick whatever VMS they want and eliminate all the different devices in between. Wow. So what we've created is basically this hybrid solution that now allows them to pick what VMS that they want. So as you can see down here, we have one flavor of a VMS, different flavor of VMS over here, and another one over here. And we support various video management platforms out there. So what we're giving our customer base is the ability to now pick the future, pick what VMS, pick the software that they want without constraining them to that proprietary nature.
Is that fairly unique in the business?
It is. So right now, NDVision is the only security appliance out there that allows our customer base to pick and choose and give them the freedom to do what they want with their security server.
Wow. Got a patent on it?
Absolutely. We've definitely got some IP already in the works.
I figured you did. Just double checking. All right.
Absolutely.
Now, who is going to use this application?
Yeah, so there is a very specific market that we're targeting with this product. So as you start to see the infrastructure out there as it pertains to video, we still see that predominantly still a lot of analog cameras out there.
Somebody told me at IC West in Vegas, right, that analog last year still outsold IP.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think this year IP is going to go forward. I find that unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's not really price. I mean, a digital camera is not expensive anymore. Why do people still go with the analog?
That's a great question, right? So it's the infrastructure, right?
Oh, if they have existing analog, they're going to augment it and not replace it. Maybe that's why.
A couple things, right? So there's a lot of clientele that are currently buying analog, and they want to go ahead and make the jump to IP. But in order for them to go completely IP, they either have to forklift and retrofit all that existing equipment, but they may not have the budget to go ahead and do that, right?
Right.
So their next best choice is to start off slowly. Go with the encoder, go with the switch, and then get it in. But that's going to take a long time.
Well, and the cost might be close to putting in a whole new system in it because you're installing 3 different things, right? I mean,
exactly.
Yeah.
So that's our niche market right there, is going after the clients that want to start taking advantage of these new enterprise feature sets that these VMS allow them to do, but at a fraction of the cost. But not only that, at a fraction of the labor cost to put these in.
It's all about the labor, right?
Exactly.
Cameras have come down pretty cheap now, right?
Yeah,
but the guy that puts them in, he's not any cheaper. And he might be more expensive, actually. Just
you hit that on the head, right?
Yeah.
So it may be, it may cost you so much amount of money to get one contractor to do it, but I mean, at the end of the day, when you got multiple devices to put in, that starts to add up.
So let's talk about the quality.
Yep.
Compromise?
Yep.
Is it converting the quality over just as good if it goes from analog to digital?
It's literally an encoder.
Is it at least as good as what you were looking at on analog?
Yeah, so
Which
what
could be bad.
What we're getting out of this, we got D1 quality out of our current encoders, and then we're also going to be doing HD analog as well. So you'll be getting up to 720p on theirs.
From an analog signal?
Yes.
Oh.
So that's HD analog, right?
Yeah. Well, that's pretty cool. Now, the tape decks go away then?
I'm sorry?
The tapes, the old-fashioned tapes that they have still, and they're 25 burl tape decks, they got to change tapes, everything that goes away when you convert all this stuff, right?
Absolutely.
So there's a cost conversion there, though, because now I got to buy the digital decks.
Yeah.
But that's come down in price, too.
Exactly.
Now, if you're converting from analog to digital, is it true digital, and does it, now you can stream it, now you can stick it up on your cloud, now you can do all kinds of things with it.
Yeah, so there's numerous ways of doing it, right? So what we're doing is we're getting the analog stream and we're encoding it to a digital format.
Right.
So that allows it to be ingested into various VMS platforms. And at that point, then you can start taking advantage of all the other different software-based analytics or feature sets that come in inherently with those VMS platforms.
What about the cloud? You recommend, because we're talking about this today, the cloud was a big thing. You're a lot younger than I am, I have to whitehead or prove it. But back in the day, the computer that I had 2 floppy drives, right? That was no hard drive. And before that, terminals were dumb. Nothing got stored at the terminal at the office. That was in a big giant room with a whole bunch of servers, right? So the cloud is basically hierarchy storage management, which is what that was. But I hear people are kind of getting away from it now. Now the people are sketchy about it. No, the cloud, where's my data? Who's watching it? What do you hear about that in the industry? Yeah,
so my opinion on the cloud, I mean, there's various ways of going about the cloud. Obviously, the first foray into the cloud was pushing video directly to the cloud, and then there was obviously the issues that were related to it with bandwidth and security. But there's different ways of going about the cloud now, maybe potentially as just managing video of certain retention that needs to be put up there indefinitely, right?
Yeah, for archive, for insurance reasons.
Exactly.
And maybe if you compromise it, it's not the end of the world. It's a guy drinking coffee in your cafeteria, so what, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So and the way it integrates with NDVision is basically what we do is we leverage the VMS partners. So like I said, we're not a VMS company.
Right.
We're a security appliance that allows our customer base to pick and choose what VMS that they want. So there may be a typical client-server architecture, or there may be cloud-based VMS partners out there that allow us to go ahead and leverage their architecture for that type of deployment. So if there's a VMS that supports cloud, great. We'll load the VMS cloud software on our system and be able to then transmit the video back up.
I come to this show a lot, and every year bumbling, maybe not the perfect word, but I stumble or bumble upon new stuff that nobody else is doing. And I know it's new because I always go to the small booths first, all right? This stuff is expensive. I don't care about these giant booths that cost $500,000. Those guys, Tyco, they're established, they're good, right? But the interesting stuff is down here. And when you contact me, I thought, well, I'm going to do some research and find out who else is doing this so I know. No. And I'm thinking, how can nobody else be doing this, right? But there's always a first guy. And you're the first guy on this. This is fascinating. How did you get the idea for this?
So
it was a need, of course, but I mean, how did you technically work it all out?
Absolutely. So it's our mantra, right? So we listen, we create, and we solve problems. We listen to our customers' needs. So obviously, this isn't a product that we just came up out of thin air. This came from meeting with one of our customers and listening to a pain point that he had.
And what were you doing before? I mean, before specializing in this specifically, when that guy, the stores needed conversion, what were you doing for him before that?
Yeah, so the exact same thing, right? So our company at its core is an innovative company. We're always coming up with new ways to thwart criminal activity, how to automate processes using readily available technologies out in the industry, but applying a different twist that hasn't been done.
So this is one of your products?
This is one of numerous products.
And the brand new and the hot stuff. It's really, really good. All right, interesting. Integration. I like it and I hate it. Right? I like the tin can on the wire. I like the dumb terminal. because if you want to steal my bank account with $35, go ahead. But if you get into that, and I also have my access control system or an HR system, and I have everything else on my network, now my hacker has an easier job just to get in there and take everything.
Sure.
What's your thoughts on that?
I mean, there's always going to be issues with security, right? And it really comes down to the support that you have behind the scenes on the vendors that you choose with the product, right? How secure are the products that you're purchasing out there? It really comes up to the firewall that you're putting, the fences around the technology that you're putting in.
Well, also though the device. So cameras are a computer, for lack of a better word. If we want to dumb it down to, you know, low-level stuff, it's a computer.
Sure.
And you plug it in, you have an IP address, and you're supposed to have a password on it, and manufacturers ship it with password 01.
Yep.
And I forgot the study I saw, and some guy had a website in Russia where most people don't change the password. And this guy in Russia was logging in and watching baby monitors and, you know, people at the Taco Bell, and he had access visually to all kinds of things.
Sure.
So manufacturers, rightfully so, set it up, give you recommendations, an integrator comes out and says you've got to change your password every week. People don't do it. Is there anything special on your device that has some encryption or password protection? Password protection's not as good as encryption, but something on the device itself that helps with that.
Yeah, so as it pertains to NDVision, the product, the video streams themselves are fully encrypted locally on the system, and then it's up to the end user to be able to provide a higher level of encryption on their different types of passwords, and then obviously putting through their safeguard in regards to
some hardware I'm seeing doesn't have that. Believe it or not. It's well, you know that, I'm sure.
I'm very familiar with that, and I've seen a lot of manufacturers that actually deploy this in that manner just to go ahead and get the systems out. But what we do is we configure with certain security parameters out of the gate, certain username and password out of the box, right? And those are configured before we ship. But at the same token, we do recommend that our end users do put a complex security password into the system so that they're not dealing with these issues of getting anyone hacking into their product.
I see this as an industry problem, and I've talked to a couple of manufacturers that see it. Only a few of the manufacturers are actually passionate about that issue. And what they tell me is if you bring it up in the biz and you belong to Onvif or some of these organizations, you're not really welcome to come back to the table and talk about it, right?
Sure.
I mean, explain to me from a layman's point of view, is it difficult to do?
No, not at all.
It's not that big a cost impact, right?
No, not at all.
Stick a chip on there and, you know, say you have to get through our chip before it goes out to the password. I just wonder why they don't do it. Is it a standardization issue or what?
Yeah, you know, it may be a commoditization of the product, you know. They're manufacturing product by the thousands or whatever it is, and they're just trying to get them out the door. So you add another level of someone having to actually unbox a unit and put those security parameters before they go out.
Well, that could be. If you do 1 million of them, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad to see you guys have that in yours. I mean,
yeah, we have the personal touch on every device that goes out.
What's the next greatest thing coming up in security, do you think?
Yeah, so NDVision, we got a lot of things on the pipeline with our product. Obviously, we're working for full integration with Onvif. We've got health monitoring in the cloud that we're going to be able to offer as a service to be able to actually monitor each device on a network and be able to get real-time statistics of the server itself, hardware internal to the server, and also connectivity uptime on the VMS platform rules or the Windows services that are running behind the scenes so that we can help IT administrators or security administrators of the system to have real-time analysis of what the system's doing to make sure that we keep that uptime as high as possible.
Oh, here it is. Yes. Well, we didn't make it, but that's okay. We're almost done. Bandwidth. I take analog, I convert it. Are people remembering they got to increase their storage?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that could change your whole storage issue and bandwidth issue.
Sure.
All right, lady, are you done? Thanks a lot. Is it a significant increase when you convert the analog to a digital?
No, not at all.
Oh, really? Okay.
Not at all.
Now,
so
is that because there's a special compression algorithm or something?
So what we do with our system, we use H.264 compression on both streams. So we do dual streaming on each one of the camera streams. And that's the way that we've been able to keep the throughput down. By the same token, our servers can manage a high amount of throughput on each of them. We have an i3 and i5 and i7 version of the system, go up to 150 MIPS per second.
Maybe you can put one of these on my GoPro.
Yeah.
Because every time I upload the damn thing, I lose all my memory. It's such high resolution. Drives me nuts. Thanks for coming on Security Guy Radio. Let's talk about your website again, NDVision.com.
NDVision.com.
And you're based out of where?
We are out of Southern California.
Oh, excellent. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you so much.
That was good.
Awesome. Thank you so much.